Canada's spy agency is warning what are called threat actors. They're trying to influence Canadian citizens. This was reported in a Toronto Star BuzzFeed investigation. Joining us this morning from Ottawa is Alex Boutilier. He's a national politics reporter at the Toronto Star. He led this investigation. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
For people who haven't had a chance to read your article yet, what is a threat actor and what did your investigation find?
Well, it sort of runs the gamut from hostile foreign intelligence services to, third parties, pressure groups, that sort of thing, to, hacktivists and hackers, sort of not at the nation state level. So a threat actor, it's a very broad category. What our investigation found is that the Canadian intelligence community already believes that threat actors are active in Canada, attempting to influence Canadians as we sort of approach the federal election this October. No threats specifically directed at the election yet, but certainly foreign actors attempting to influence Canadians for their own domestic political gain.
This is not something new. We know this happened in the U.S. election, in the France election recently. So although we never know what type of tactics that could be used to influence Canadians, how are Canadians then supposed to protect themselves? How do they know if they're being influenced incorrectly?
Well, I think the most important thing is to be very judicious about where you get your information from. Certainly, mainstream news organizations have standards and ethics and an adherence to the truth. That's not the case for every actor on the internet putting out a political message. So I think everyday Canadians, you and me, have to be very, very careful about where we get our information and how often we share information without verifying it. So that's number one. You're quite right to say that foreign interference is not new. In fact, it goes way back before 2016. This is, in some cases, a fact of life in international politics. Countries, including Canada, are always trying to project their interests onto other countries. I think the difference that we've seen since 2016 is the sort of weapon delivery system, if you will. The internet makes it very cheap and easy to spread misinformation, for instance, to try and influence diaspora communities in Canada. It makes it a lot easier than traditional spycraft used to be. So the mass scale, coupled with how cheap it is to do, I think has really changed the game.
Part of that concern is what led to hearings that we saw earlier this year, as well as various meetings with, some of the big social media companies. But what in particular can Canadians do? They know there's a threat. They read investigations like yours and think, okay, well, how do I know? How will I be able to protect myself? And who is stopping them?
Well, I think, again, it goes back to that piece about media literacy and being careful on Facebook. Before you click share, make sure what you're sharing is coming from a reputable source, makes sense on some level. If it's fantastic, it needs more investigation on your part. I think that goes a long way. I don't think we can leave it up to intelligence services to safeguard our democracy. I think that the responsibility really falls on citizens to do that, and us in the media as well, to try and get accurate information out there in a timely manner.
Alex, you contacted some of the federal parties who could potentially be involved in this. What was their response?
So all the federal parties are being offered classified briefings. There's security cleared staff at the top of each campaign that can meet with CSIS, can meet with CSE, and receive, sort of in-depth briefings about what's going on the ground right now. So I think that really allows the parties to have a good sense of the threat environment. In terms of what the parties are doing, we unfortunately don't really know. We have to take them at their word. There are no laws governing how parties collect and use Canadians' personal information in Canada. There's no oversight into how they do that. And there's no guarantee other than their word that they're exercising, they've got in place proper cybersecurity rules. So unfortunately, it's a bit of a black box, and Canadians just have to take parties at their word at this point.
Alex, thanks for joining us this morning from Ottawa.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.